The Belfast and County Down Railway was an Irish gauge railway in Ireland, later Northern Ireland, linking Belfast with County Down. It was built in the 19th century and later absorbed into the Ulster Transport Authority in 1948. All but the line between Belfast and Bangor was closed in the 1950s. But one of the original lines ran from D Street in East Belfast to the small town of Cumber, around 9 kilometres from the city. Through the 1950s, the track was lifted in phases, and infrastructure, including bridges, removed. The remains of Neil's Hill Station survive, near the Sandown Road, behind Clara Park and Sandhill Gardens. By the end of the 20th century, the walkway had become a popular spot for dog walkers, runners and cyclists. In 2003, the Knock Valley Relief Sewer was installed from Ballymacarrot to Dundonald, resulting in a substantial excavation of the path. Subsequently, many government agencies donated funds to restore and upgrade the Greenway for recreational use. This included a hard tarmac surface, signposts, and much later, a lighting system along the route. For all intents and purposes, the Cumber Greenway is an excellent community route, which has now been serving the locals for decades, providing a tranquil rest from the hustle and bustle of inner city life. However, it unfortunately has a darker reputation. Until very recently, the Cumber Greenway had no electric lighting, and so was known as a place to strictly avoid after nightfall. Reports of criminal activity are numerous and fairly frequent, with muggings and drug deals the most common offences. Shoes have been spotted, tied to tree branches which mark the location for a pickup. There was also a spate of dog poisonings which took place between 2017 and 2019. Food was left out along the pathway laced with rat poison and antifreeze. Thankfully, the criminal activity seems to have dwindled with the introduction of streetlights in the area. In recent times, there have been numerous reports online of various paranormal phenomena taking place on the Greenway. Many of these are accounts from CAPRA, the County Antrim Paranormal Research Association. CAPRA member John Campbell recounts the events that occurred during the team's investigation in a Belfast Telegraph article. These reportedly included the apparitions of a woman, a disembodied pair of legs, and an EVP of a child saying, "Hello." I mean, doesn't sound particularly terrifying, that last one just sounds like, want to have a wee chat, but anyway. Perhaps most notably, in a subsequent investigation, John Campbell heard a distant steam train whistle, and another member of Capra, Janet Kinlivin, in a Spooky Isles article, even talks of hearing the faint chug of the train on the tracks. The ghost train is by far the most reported phenomenon on the Cumber Greenway, and I find it quite an interesting idea that some remnants of the century of railway use are still lurking here, perhaps recorded into the stones of the abandoned platforms, which are still visible along some sections of the route. There's even a local group dedicated to preserving the archaic remains of these historic locations.
You can see here behind us is the actual platform, the up platform as it's called. That's the direction of Belfast. You can see the top stones, but you can't actually see the coping stones. There was on top of that, there was another layer of crisscross hatching stonework, which was a trademark of the Belfast and County Down Railway. Behind that, you can see original fencing that we've uncovered that appeared out of the undergrowth. It's in a pretty poor state, but you can see but part of our...
Another bizarre Belfast Live article from 2015 details reports of several cyclists finding straw effigies hanging from the trees. There's no definitive answer to where these dolls came from, but they first started appearing just before Halloween of that year, so an elaborate prank doesn't seem unlikely. However, Northern Ireland's only pagan priest, Patrick Carberry, from the Order of the Golden River, said, "Corn dolls are an ancient pagan ritual, but they are also associated with the Christian faith as well. So, despite the unsettling appearance of the dolls, they are decidedly not sinister." While researching the Cumber Greenway, I came across an old Reddit post on r/paranormal, which contains an account of a woman from Belfast with an interest in the supernatural, who, late one night, decided to go on a walk with her husband to see if anything would occur here. Rather than explain the story in my own words, I think it really speaks for itself, so I'm going to narrate it for you. So, in April, my partner and I decided we would go for a walk down the Greenway to see if we would experience or see anything paranormal. It was pretty spooky walking in the dark, but it was what we saw, or rather didn't see, that really shook us up. We had walked to a part of the Greenway that was heavily lined with thick trees, but also had a slight ditch and tall, very thin trees that stops people from walking into the ditch area. The distance between the large trees and the ones right at the path is a good few meters. As we got further down the path, we heard a twig snap, and we quickly shone our torches up to find the source of the noise. There was nothing there. We prepared to keep walking, thinking that it was just some kind of small animal, when we heard more snapping and leaves crunching, indicating that it was moving closer to us. At this point, I thought it was a person and not a small animal, as I could tell it was quite large judging by the sounds. I stood and shone my torch again and could still see nothing. Whatever it was kept moving closer to us, and my partner got really spooked, turned back and ran. I started following him, walking backwards so I could keep the torch beam focused on the source of the noise and try and see what the hell it was. Then it started sprinting towards me and I just turned and ran. I could see another part of the Greenway. I still could not see anything at all, and I do not know what it was, and I can only judge from what sounds I heard. This thing was big and fast. I feel that I should add that I'd been experiencing some paranormal events in the same month. When walking home from a friend's house late at night, I thought I saw a gangly, tall, pale humanoid creature duck behind the front of a van. And when I turned my head to look closer, the streetlights went out and the area was plunged into darkness. I ran the whole way home. It could have been nothing, but I was so sure I saw it. The experience I had on the walkway is one of the most terrifying events I've ever had. It still freaks me out, even while typing this. This account is certainly intriguing. I suppose since whatever was making the source of the noise was never seen, it's possible that it was an animal or human. However, the speed at which it was moving, as well as the size based on the noise, make it more difficult to explain away outright. With that extensive amount of background information covered, I think it's more than high time for an investigation. Okay, so joined here by Dave and Neil this evening for a wee ghost hunt on the Cumber Greenway. This is the platform. There's a much better, cleared one further down, but let's just take a little EMF reading right here while we sit down. Well, that's a big fat 0 right there. Temperature's pretty normal, too hot actually. And so far, pretty chill, pretty quiet. But let's head further. So yeah, just up on the left here, there's the Neil's Hill station, one of the last stations, right before the centre of Belfast. Back in this old route from Cumber to Belfast. Unfortunately, it's been defaced by some youths. We do have the original fence post right here. Let's set down the EMF, see what happens. I think this is like a wee path that would have gone like from the station. You can see the old rusty handrails. Well, safe to say the skeptics are winning at the moment. We're now approaching the underpass bridge. It's not actually that old, but it does have quite a creepy vibe to it, so I feel like it's worth going there nonetheless. Bro, look at this graffiti.
Yeah, listen, I'm trying to avoid that in the camera.
No, bro, let's get
stupid.
I think so. It's a good wee spooky location, but the thing is, I very much doubt there would have actually been a lot of people here. And I I'm hoping that's a wrap. Yeah, I'm assuming that's an animal of some kind. Still dead on the MF. Nice. I'm hoping that got picked up on your camera. You were recording it? Okay, so we've been walking for what feels like an hour at this point. It's now just after 11. We've hit a quieter stretch of the Greenway, although there is still a lot of traffic noise, to be quite honest. Let's stay here, let's stay here. I think it might be a plane. There's a Domino's right there. That's it. Someone just walked out with a pizza over there. It's gotta be open. Come on, come on.
I'll have a Coke, just.
Yeah, save a Coke as well, please. I shouldn't have Mr. Bean solid, I can have. It's full. Take a drink. Come on. Well, I'll tell you what. We're much more likely to find a ghost trail on a full stomach.
I believe that too, man. I believe that too. What's your message for all the ghost hunters out there that might follow in your steps?
If you're getting hungry, if you're getting thirsty,
get a Domino's.
Get a Domino's.
Domino's sponsor us. Open till 1 a.m. For all your ghost hunting needs, as long as you're not ghost hunting past 1 a.m. And even then, just get delivery. You'll be
I love how
like,
this is there's gonna be like half the video. It's just us sitting in Dominic.
This one starts off like horror ghost stuff.
Yeah,
and now
just
it's a
a lot.
mukbang. We're making a mukbang. That's what we're doing.
Okay. We're fueled up on pizza. Dave just heard a distant train horn. Typically, we weren't recording. Nice.
I'm just keeping this constantly recording to try and pick up that sound again.
I can't believe it's always when you're not paying attention.
It would have been like perfect. It was like literally made me think, holy shit.
It made you like doubt.
Made
I
me
was
doubt
skeptical.
things for a second there.
Did it sound like the one in the last place? Like where we heard it?
No. It was way long. It sounded like because the last one was kind of just like a boop.
Yeah.
This sounded like a proper like you know when a train comes into a station.
Yeah.
And does that like boop, boop, boop.
To like warn you, yeah.
It's like it sounded
Like a steam
it
one,
sounded
like-
like the last kind of toot. It was sound like a steam train.
Yeah. I reckon we venture to the next section and then like start heading back that way because this feels like a good stretch. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's like try that again. This is it. Hang on. We got something going on here. Look, it's sitting on two. Yeah, it's just sitting on two right now. Hello? Is anybody here? If you're here, could you come close to the blue device? If you come close to it, the numbers will drop and it will beep. Did you hear that? No, I know it's going to be back or something. What the fuck? Some kind of intelligence. So, time is now 20 past 1 about, give or take. This is our last stop of the evening. This has been my longest investigation so far, and to be honest, probably the least eventful. However, I felt surprisingly fulfilled by the experience afterwards. There's something strangely therapeutic and spiritual about just being present under the sky on a clear, still night, listening for echoes of a forgotten time. I sometimes wonder whether certain folklore exists simply to cling on to a fading memory, keeping the history of a place alive for the next generation. I feel that I'm beginning to understand more why I started this project. The first anomaly was picked up by David in the underpass. He was recording when a distant, elongated horn sounded. It really does sound like a train horn, but bizarrely, not one that matches the era of the Belfast to Cumber line. It may well have had another source, but it sounds so much like the approach of a diesel freight hauler that it has left me scratching my head. The steam train noises were to come much later in the night. After we had finished our pizza, David heard a clear whistling sound. Unfortunately, we didn't catch this on camera, but despite the strong skeptic he is, the sound was enough to give even him doubts. I'm gutted I didn't hear it for myself. Later, we managed to catch 2 more faint whistling sounds. Again, it's very difficult to confirm that they came from a ghost train. There were so many noises, regardless of where we were on the Greenway, and just because these whistles sounded authentic, doesn't mean they couldn't have had a rational origin. We also heard a series of metal clinks and clangs which reminded me of wheels rolling over gaps in the track, or of carriages connecting. However, they also reminded me of this, so we really didn't collect enough evidence to conclusively prove the existence of a ghost train. However, I think the legend is valuable to the area, and I hope it continues for years to come, as there is very little left of the original Belfast and County Down Railway. Regardless of whether there is any concrete truth to it, it's a piece of folklore to be treasured. See you next time.